You are an embodied reflection of Source. You are thus infinitely empowered, abundant, and a co-creator with your context always. You are an alchemist. Divination works because the web of life is intelligently organized with coordinated and storied agency. Let's take a look at the stories playing out now. Hi everyone. Let's take a look at the Sabian Symbol imbued at the 12-degree Cancer new moon. The energies of this symbol are going to be influencing the energies for this entire 28-day cycle. The symbol is a hand with a prominent thumb held out for study. This is referring to the energies of determination, analyzation, and I think discernment over the course of this period. There is going to be a determination and a confidence. There's going to be maybe an educative role in the discernment that is taking place. There's a lot of information online. There's a lot of information in the field. It is overwhelming. It is flooding us. This is a month, as have previous months been, but this looks like a very highlighted month to practice our discernment. Hi everyone. Welcome to July 2016. So I'm doing this a little bit differently this month. First of all, I wanted to be on camera a little bit more this month, back like I used to be. The other is it's here outside and it's a beautiful day. Sunday morning, Father's Day actually. So we're imbuing the energies a little bit with maybe an honoring of the divine masculine. Who knows? Maybe that was the reason why this wanted to happen. So I also wanted to thank everybody on camera to all the well wishes that I received. I'm certainly not alone. There's a lot of people whose body systems are activated by the energy shifts going on, and really the cellular and genetic shifts and changes and alterations that are activated within all of us right now. So indeed, shadows are coming up, karmic patterns coming up. It's been that way for many, many months now. And the bodies are feeling great fatigue and other things happening as a result of these shifts and changes that are just part of the natural evolutionary maturation process for humanity, for the collective. We're literally going from toddlerhood, really more adolescence, but in a way it almost feels like toddlers to teenagers. And I think for some people it's like that, but I think for the vast majority of the collective, it is a bit like we're adolescents, entitled, and we're ready to mature. At least life is ready for us to mature. We need to mature because it's done its run. The adolescent state of humanity has run its course, and now we are maturing, and that's part of the difficulty and the challenges, energetic and otherwise, with regards to the unfolding, the pressure to step up. And I've said that actually for a long time since I've started these scopes, but it really is the truth, and it is becoming exponential. And this year, it really is the year of freedom and alignment. I've said that forever. People are calling it different things, but ultimately this is a time of becoming freed from karmic patterns, not just for our life stream, but for all of our life streams, and not just for us, like our particular soul's journey and its combination as it relates to these other life streams that we're part of and participating in, but the collective. That's the pressure that so many of us know is at hand. That's the pressure that we feel because we get the bigger story of what is unfolding. So us healing self is inherently, as it always does, heals other. As within, so without. As above, so below. So when we shift, it shifts. When we shift, our perception shifts, and everything that we perceive thus shifts. That's just the way it works. That's the way consciousness works. So, yeah, but there's other things at play. There's a lot at play. The energies that are shifting and changing, raising, the frequency is raising, and thus things are becoming more and more transparent. So the solidity that was holding in heavier frequencies can't be hidden anymore. Thus, all the 12th house, past life, parallel life stuff coming up to the fore, right? So I won't go too much more into that. There'll be more coming from me, much more. So let's go ahead and get started. I have my cards because this month I'm going to do art and cards. We're going to do a little Andy Goldsworthy, working with nature, with at least with some Himalayan sea salts and some pebbles. Maybe some crystals too. I don't, we'll see what I have, but I'm going to gather a collection. So we do essentially a little bas relief of each sign, and we're going to use imagery. Again, we're all channels. We're all channels. So I encourage all of you to channel writing, art, drawing, whatever it is. But the fact is, we're always channeling, always, every day. So when we can tap in and we can make that connection, then when you put that charcoal on the art paper, or if you are working with natural elements, you know, even with geomancy, throwing sticks or bones or stones, which is not what I'm going to be doing for this cycle, but something similar. So I'm just going to be using natural elements and molding them in a drawing, essentially. So it's the same as using pencil on paper. So I'm excited to do that because I've, again, just like the previous month, I don't know how it's going to go, and I'm excited to see. But now I have my Carolyn Mace archetype cards, and so what I'm going to do, what's a little bit differently this month, is I am going to pull essentially the maturation. So what is it that's asking to be grown and attended to in your life during this month? First, I'm going to pull it first, and then we're going to see what comes. You know, what comes? What is it that wants to be X, Y, or Z? Whatever this card comes for you, and we'll pull the art and we'll pull the cards and we'll just see what the rest of the message is. Okay, so let's take a look. Gemini. Okay, so let's tune in and see what is it. What is it? What's the quality set that is wanting to be attended to, seen, matured, evolved within you this month? Okay. Gemini. Hedonist is coming up. I think that this came up, well, it came up for some signs last year. Hedonist made its self known a couple of times during the 2015 cycle. So Gemini, what I'm going to do is let's move on to the next segment, and then we'll talk about hedonist there. Okay. Gemini, welcome. So let me explain what I'm doing here. I've started to shuffle your spread. I'm using my Siri deck, my 144 card personal deck. And we're going to use this to bring up your demographics, evolutionary cycle. What event, circumstance, or situation is likely to come up for the majority of Gemini-centric scope people? What is unfolding for your demographic? And then I'm going to complete this, cut it, put it aside, and then I'm going to tap into the Himalayan sea salts, the pebbles, and also the crystals as they wish to come forward. And I'm going to just bring forward form. We'll see what comes through, what wants to be brought forward visually in regards to form. And then I'll pull the spread and then we'll read it all together. So Gemini, what is the event, circumstance, or situation that's likely to come forward for at least the majority of Gemini-centric scope people over the course of this Cancer new moon cycle, July 2016. Gemini. What event, circumstance, or situation for Gemini? Okay. So Gemini. All right, so let's go ahead. What is it? What is it that wants to come for Gemini? I might move this over a little bit. Make sure you can see everything. Gemini, okay. What else wants to come for you? So Gemini, where this stems from, where the inspiration stems from, was natural. It was a natural drive to do these kind of channelings. But my background is holistic science. It is psychology, but it's also art. So I also hold an art degree. And it's something that I used to do quite often, but I've gone in and out of the flow. And this is definitely new. I've never done anything like this before. And it's been fabulous. Working with the crystals and stones has been really, really fascinating. Really fascinating. I think that's what wants to come. I don't think there's anything else. I think that's it. That feels complete for me. Okay. Gemini. So let me put these away. And let's go ahead. We've already cut your deck. So let's pull the spread. Wow. Yes. Yeah. Very interesting. Okay. So let's take a look. Let's take a look. Okay, lovelies. So let's see what's going on here. Now, this is the deal. So before we go into the cards, there was definitely something with love here that's coming. And we'll talk more about the various symbols within, the forms that came, and also the stones that came. So let's take a look. There's something coming up with the beauty of the past. So past memories, beauty from the past memories that feel good to you, beautiful ones. And something about beliefs. So it has to do with maybe what you believed, the relationship, because this definitely has to do with a spouse or a partner, a love partner. Not everybody that's watching this is going to be in a committed relationship. However, what I would say to you is go ahead and tap in to your themes of thought that are unfolding within your psyche now. Because what could be happening is you are thinking about either a past partner or a past spouse, or you're thinking about past relationships that you'd like to, I don't know, that's coming up for review as you assess a new partner, a new love partner. In the spiritual sector, though, for you, what's coming up is almost like there was beliefs that you held when you were younger that were quite fresh, hopeful, optimistic, beautiful. They were loving and free and pretty. They were pretty thoughts, you know? And so these beliefs that felt maybe youthful and innocent, I want to say, those are on a spiritual level. That's kind of coming up to the fore over the course of this July 2016 Cancer new moon cycle. But there is some negativity that's coming up. And this is, you know what I want to say? What it is it's almost like there's an idealization of the spousal relationship. There is a prettiness. You thought it would be fabulous. You thought being married or being in this committed relationship would be wonderful, beautiful, without marks, without negativity. And look what's coming up here. Look what's coming up in the center. Indeed, the teacher for you is to deal with negativity, meaning every relationship has its ups and downs. Every relationship has a dynamic that matures us, that's rich, that's hard. Sometimes it's very difficult. Guess what? Your teacher now is to maybe accept negativity or accept arguments occasionally or accept compromise, etc., etc., etc. But guess what? That is a theme for a lot of you during this cycle. Very interesting this, because I was picking up something pretty specific when this was getting created. So let's take a look. In the emotional realm, again, I want to say the same thing. This is the signs and signals card, right? But you can see that there's a figure in the background here. That's like a guide or an angel, you know. But for you, signs and signals coming up in the emotional realm, for me is talking about almost an emotional naivete. That you figured it was the right thing to do. Marriage was the right thing to do. That's what people do. For example, that could be one thread of thought that some of you have had. That's just what people do. Of course it's supposed to be happily ever after. We're told it's supposed to be happily ever after. There's not supposed to be arguments, negativity, doubt, suspicions, jealousy. There's not supposed to be any of that. So guess what? It's a teacher for you this month. So Gemini, you're being taught some lessons with regards to growing up, with regards to your ideas about marriage and partnership. You're two souls that are serving each other, that are reflecting each other back and forth, back and forth. It's about growing up. I really get it strongly. And thoughts are going to emerge. So there's going to be something that comes forward over the course of the cycle that's going to create a lot of these thoughts in your psyche. There's going to be lots going on, okay? Now currently, as I'm filming this, I'll tell you that Gemini has, replaced the Sun-Venus conjunction that we had that was one point in this mutable, very rich, mutable Grand Cross. Mercury is now in that point in Gemini. So your thinking, your beliefs, your communications, all is being adjusted, recalibrated. You're having to see things differently. And this is opposed Saturn in Sag. So this is a big deal. There's a lot of boundaries, limits, becoming disciplined, maturing. We're being asked to mature our communications and our mind and our thoughts. Now, what came up here, first of all, I will tell you that your image is quite different than a lot of the others because many crystals came up here. It was different with the other ones that I filmed so far. There's a couple things. One is there's this kind of deceleration, I want to say, from love. So this is rose quartz. This does represent love. And the love went, like the love at the pinnacle, at the point, at the top, kind of is decelerating. So there's some clarity that comes. And then there's another bit of clarity that comes. And then there's like this piece, which looks like a teardrop. Look at that beautiful piece. So a teardrop then comes. So ideas about love brought clarity, brought even more clarity, is bringing some sadness for some of you. But guess what? Look at this. There's these like wings that came out at the very end from this tear. So there is growth. It is a teacher. A lot of you hopefully will see this, will really assimilate, yes, this is functional. Life never does it wrong. Everything is coherent. I'm supposed to be having these situations so that I can have these realizations. These are wings. So these tears are bringing awakening for a lot of you. And it's interesting because here, with the pebbles, with these little stone pebbles, this is like a solid foundation. It's like this thick block. So this very thick base. So this foundation could easily, for a lot of you, be marriage. Easily. And if it's not marriage, if it's really not a spouse, it could be a committed partnership. Okay? But then look at this. So this piece of selenite has wanted to come forward in many of the readings so far. And this piece is interesting because for you, it's kind of at the base. So underneath this, let's say this institution or this foundation of the institution of marriage or the committed partnership, there is this selenite, this kind of angelic piece of spiritual power that actually underpins all of it. There's a reality that underpins the whole storyline. You are going to mature and grow, dear Geminis, from this month. Maybe naive ideas about the past is going to just mature. So you can still honor love. You can still be in love, but you're going to see it from a holistic, evolved perspective. Now let's take a look at what came up for you. Because you received a very interesting card here. You received the archetype card of hedonist. This is what I pulled in the park. So this is what wants to be evolved and grown through you. So this is interesting. So let's take a look. So the shadow attribute, Gemini, that wants to be evolved is pursues pleasure to the detriment of health, indulges at the expense of others. So again, that speaks to kind of an immaturity. There's a lack of limits. It's entitled beyond, that gets past the pleasure point because it just, it's too expanded. It's not self-contained. It's not limited by, as natural systems are. With regards to the hedonist, the evolution, what wants to be matured through you is inspires creative energy to embrace the good things in life, celebrates the beauty in yourself. Isn't that interesting? Especially as the beauty card came up. So again, inspires creative energy to embrace the good things in life, celebrates the beauty in yourself. I love this for you because, again, this is what wants to be matured within you over the course of this cycle. Indeed, if you're having problems with negativity, judgment, jealousy, bitterness, resentment, etc., then you are going to remedy that by altering your self-love, by altering your beliefs about the situation, by altering how you feel about yourself, how you love yourself, how you honor yourself inside that relationship. So it's about owning your power. I mean, it's the same theme that we're all going through at some level or another. Okay. Wow, Gemini. Okay, so let's move on to your Dakini and see what's coming up there for you. Hi, everyone. Your I Ching micro story, a general energetic theme that's playing out for your particular sign, is listed on the card that you're reading now, as is your optimal goddess embodiment, the Dakini embodiment. Who are you to become to ride this June wave optimally? In order to save time this month, I'm just recording this once. And if you'd like, for those interested, because not everybody is, you are free to visit my website and go to the online library where you can find the information for both your I Ching and your Dakini. Okay, everyone. So that completes the alchemy scopes for this cycle, July 2016, our Cancer new moon cycle, which now the new moons are really aligning predominantly with the month, which is fantastic. So it's going to be a bit easier and more aligned for people to understand, you know, how these are running. But for any of you out there that are desiring one-on-one guidance, my website is below. There's a list of services. For those of you interested in understanding your soul's narratives, the storylines that live within, the storylines that were encoded within you to be healed, matured, and evolved, you as an aspect of consciousness, I have a package called the Who Am I package, and it involves the receipt of 2 different profiles, a video explaining the profiles, and a personal 90-minute one-on-one session with me. And I'm going to link that somewhere on the video and or below the video. So I invite, this really is a time for those of you interested in getting to know yourselves at a very deep, authentic level, but that is connected to the deeper realities of the strata of living systems, which is the storied archetypal symbolic realm. I invite you to reach out. And I also have one-on-one sessions. So for those of you interested in your own personal alchemy scope, I offer those. There's a list of services and products. So I want to thank you again so much for those of you that sent me well wishes during the last couple months. It's been meaningful, and I really appreciate it. And I so see and honor the processes happening within each of you as well. So we're all riding the wave, and we're all working through our processes. And it really is a hero's journey. There's just nothing else to say about it. This is a hero's journey. So you're doing a fabulous job. Let July and let the rest of this summer have the remnants of this mutable Grand Cross activations and the Grand Earth Trine. Let it mutate you so that it allows you to free your mind, free the resistance, so that you can go with the flow. Going with the flow is the answer. But also being discerning and also owning your power. So there's like 3 various components to this process as we remember and remind this state of our wholeness, our whole soul, where we're going, who we are, and what we're here to do. It's a big storyline that we're working. So I'm sending you lots of love and infinite support. I'll talk to you next month.